Hi, everybody. Good morning. Well, it's morning where I am. Long time no see. How's everybody doing? I'm doing good. Everything's okay here. Uh, Garden's real slow. I guess having a real heat wave over there in the UK, which is unpleasant, I'm sure. Uh, but in any case, wish everybody well. Just load up on the ice and sleep on the floor on the lower level. Not much else you can do. Fans and dehumidifiers. Uh, you know, if you're fortunate to have air conditioning, that's great. But a portable dehumidifier will work great. It really cools the air and doesn't use near as much electricity as air conditioning. So, um, anyways, that's just a little tip here. You could send some over to us, that's for sure. It was 12 degrees this morning when I got up at 9 a.m. That's Celsius, of course. Um, and all spring now, I can't, I, I can only think of 2, maybe 3 days where we made it over 20 and really only, like 22. Um, everything else has been like 17, 18, 20. Uh, but anyways, and we haven't had much rain. But anyways, it's good for forest fire season. I guess we'll have to see how this summer progresses and just take it from there. Garden's slow, but it'll come along, and so everything's going along all right there. Okay, so yeah, not much news really, just garden and all that kind of stuff. And it's still morning, so I'm having coffee today. It's Sunday morning. Excuse me. Okay, so let's get on with the shoe. Um, okay, I'm gonna do a switcheroo here for a minute. There we go. I might have shown this before. Time to get out your mats, and here we go. I don't think we need that much. So, yeah, I guess that's okay. Okay, yeah, I might have shown this before. I'm going to do a review on this within the next few days, maybe even later today, see how I feel. And very interesting subject, very something quite different. There isn't a lot out there on this, and there's quite a few interesting stories behind it. So I'm gonna do a review of this and have a little talk about it. And um, you may have seen it before, but in this big tube, they put the float planes. They stored the float planes, and then they would go where they're going to go, and they would surface, and the planes would take off, and the submarine would submerge. The planes would do their thing. They'd go back to rendezvous with the submarine, get loaded up again. So this is a more recent iteration. Um, I don't see. Yeah, this is on the side of the box is 2007, but the kit's much older than that. And so, yeah, this is a fairly recent boxing. Well, within 20 years. Oh my goodness, time is flying, isn't it? And it was also released in this edition, which I wish I could find. You can only find it on aftermarket. I don't think Tamiya produces it anymore. but it came with 16 figures. And yeah, 1,400, or sorry, 1,700, 1,3. This is a 1,350. So yeah, 1,350 figures. Um, they're even more fun than the 1,350 airplanes. So yeah, so we'll get into that a little later, shortly, soon. And on to the star of the show here. Oh, I forgot to turn the light back on. That should be better. There we go. Sorry about that. Okay, yeah, so here what we've got today. We've got the 1966 Chevrolet Impala SS 396 motor. And it's a 2-in-1. You can build it in two different styles. Unfortunately, one of them is not the convertible, but hardtops are good. That's okay. It's Revell kit number 854497, and very nice. What I see here, whoops, get that out of the way. What I'm seeing from the camera angle, this looks like a kind of a dark blue or a medium blue, but actually on the box here, it's more like a teal color. And then of course the orange one in the background looks orange, so that's good. And it's 125 scale. They list it as ages 12 and up, level 4. And on the back here, they have their various different levels. There we go. So you've got level 1 from 6 years. Basically, these are snap-togethers, the simple snap-togethers. Take about half an hour to put together. No glue or paint or tools. That's the most basic starter thing. And then level 2 is 8 years and over. These are snap assemblies too, but would be more complex. And then you go all the way up. And level 4, which is what we have here, requires glue and paint, and features up to 120 pieces. Excuse me. And then level 5 is like a really big kit that's got more than 120 pieces. So I think somewhere I've got a couple of level 5s. I used to joke that this was not the level of difficulty, but the level of frustration with the Revell kit. Although they've improved things significantly. Though you do still have to be careful with some of the older kits. That's not limited to Revell either. So let's be fair. Date on the box here is 2019, and on the side of the box here we've got a paint guide. Gives you all the paint you might want, depending on the paint scheme. I'm going to go with a gold, but I'll get into that in a minute. So the completed model is 8.5 inches long, 148 parts. So I guess technically it would, well, no, because some of those parts, because it's a 2-in-1. It's molded in white, water slide decals. And they have a little write-up here. 1966 Impala Super Sport was the flagship of the Chevrolet line, and the emphasis was on performance as well as good looks. Today, the timeless design of the 66 Chevy Impala SS is just as striking as it was the day the first unit rolled off the assembly line. Learn to read, Steve. This is why large numbers of Chevy enthusiasts are devoting endless amounts of time, energy, and money to the pursuit of restoring, customizing, and collecting these milestone cars. So, there we go. And yeah, it was a milestone car, and for years, for decades, The Chevrolet Impala was one of the best-selling sedans on the market, um, and so it's 66 was part of the fourth generation, which started in 65. Um, there weren't many changes from the 65, but they replaced the rear rectangular taillights. Sorry, they re, they replaced the triple round lights for the tail lights for triple triangular ones. So, and it was offered in various. The standard was 250 cubic inch 6-cylinder engine with about 195 horsepower. They also offered a V8, which was a 283 turbofire V8, and you could go up to 275, 327, blah 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 blah. This is the 396, and it was a turbojet V8 and produced about 425 horsepower. No, my bad, 325 horsepower. There was a larger 427 V8, and that produced 425 horsepower. Sorry, this is 390. Steve, what's wrong with you today? 390, 396 cubic inches, 390 horsepower, which is pretty good back then. And on the side of the box here again, we've got more illustrations. You know, Revell's really good at this. There's a lot of things you can say about Revell, but they've really um, uh, run with the ball lately in the last few years. They've had some real ups and downs, but they seem to have come out of it, and they're producing some great kits now. So, anyways, we've got different styles here. We've got a lowrider style, and you know, it shows you some of the various different features, which is always nice. And the Impala, the SS version here was, it had top of the line. It had top of the line options and amenities, accoutrements, whatever you want to call it. And it was what they wanted to do, and what they accomplished was they wanted, basically they wanted a Cadillac that was more sporty, and that's exactly what they got here. So, what's wrong with you, Steve? You didn't drink last night. There we go. Didn't drink this morning either. Anyways. Okay, and you know, just it's a cool looking car. I mean, it's got really nice lines, and you know, it was actually originally the Impala was on it was on a Bel Air frame, and the first year. Um, it was meant to be the Bel Air, but they just took the Bel Air name off of it. So I don't know why they did that, but anyways, who knows with car companies. So yeah, and it's a good example of moving from the the bread loaf style of the 1950s, the late 1950s, and moving to a more sleek and streamlined look. And of course, in later years, the Impala, it had a very iconic uh, single window, almost like the Corvette, swept back, and that was really cool. So, okay, so yeah, a little bit more about the car itself. It's unfortunate, but sales of the Impala dropped about 50% between 1965 and 1966. And it didn't really have much to do with the car. It didn't have anything to do with the car, really. It was just about changing tastes in the market. Americans were looking for smaller, um, more sporty sport car, if you know what I mean, as opposed to muscle car. And then, of course, in 1967, actually, no, when did the Mustang come out? Mustang come out in 65, I think. Yeah, anyways. Okay, so let's get into this. As I said, this is a 2-in-1 kit. And there's a lot of stuff in here, and the box is the perfect size for what you get. Oh yeah, and of course the Impala was designed to compete with the I just happen to have one here, the Ford Galaxy 500. This is a 63, I think, but we can already see the way things are going, and so it's one of my earlier attempts at cars. Came with it's an AMT kit. It went together nicely, and it was actually part of a set that had a gasser and a trailer. So that was fun to build. And so we've got decals. Let's see those after. Instructions. AMT is another great company that they've done a really good job of they've done a really good job of revitalizing old kits. And yes, they just remarket some, but they've also done new toolings on others. And this particular kit was actually a Monogram kit from 1996, and new parts here in 2019, which I think was the date on the box. So um, yeah, so yeah, and of course Revell took over Monogram and all that stuff and all that drama. Okay, so we got the destructions here. Galaxy. Well, let's take a look at what we've got here. Need more light? Is that better? There we go. Okay, so we got two types of tires. We got the standard white walls, and we've got these lowrider wider ones. There's a nice nice tread. Let's see here. There, that'd be better. There's a nice tread here. There's no brand name on either set. They are vinyl. And a little bit of trimming to be done there. Okay, we get clear parts. We've got our front and rear windows, no draft, rectangular ones, and headlamps. There we go. Okay. Okay. Perfectamundo, as the Fawns would say. Nothing to complain about there. Pretty flawless. A little bit of distortion off the side of the windows there where they curve, but hey. Oh, and I should say, I think I paid about $57 Canadian for this thing. Okay, here we go. Molding's good, there's no flash. Got Super Sport molded in here. Chevrolet logo. And yeah, there you go. Nothing to complain about there either. And then of course you got your rear lamps. You put them in there. Look at chrome parts. There we go. We got the custom wheels and rims there, and the low rider Cheech and Chong mobile. There we go, and a couple of other pieces there. And the chrome is very nice. You know, the first few times I tried stripping down the chrome and then re-chroming it, I was never really very happy with the results. So what does end up looking good is using some black panel wash on things like these wheels, and that helps. The other thing, I don't even bother to strip it. I just put primer right over it. And sometimes, since I'm a POS modeler, I just leave it as is. Okay, and so here we've got the horn mechanism, part of the steering column, and then we've got the other kind of wheels. Nice, very nice front grille there, just absolutely shines. Chevrolet molded in. Got a chrome dash here. So that's very nice. So we got one bag with the body. One clear parts, two chrome, and then one with everything else. Okay, now here's the chassis. And got a little detail there underneath. Gas tank. And then here we've got the front suspension, differential and axle, regular. These are for the wheels. The transmission casing. A tiny bit of flash, but nothing. You should be doing a little trim anyways. Just soften up the edges. And then here, remember this was 1966, pretty standard, but there is contour to the seats and nice detail, interior detail. This looks like it's going to be easy to detail and paint. Nice they put the vents in there, or maybe they're speakers. Then we got the crankcase, the air filter, another engine piece. Belt mechanisms, yeah. There's some flash here, definitely. Is that probably the oil, something? Anyways, all little bits and pieces. Then we have the dual exhaust, the bucket seat bases, more exhaust and manifold stuff. And there's your big 396 motor. And standard steering wheel. Here's your fan. That's going to need some trimming. Your bucket seats. Got your standard dashboard. Air cleaner. Okay. We've got the radiator assembly and hose. Good detail there. It looks like a radiator. There's even a couple dents in it where rocks might have hit it. And again, tiny little bit of flash, nothing to freak out over. And here's the manifold covers, suspension springs. I guess this is the other suspension, depending on which model or which thing you're doing, which version. Like a version. Sorry about that. Okay, and then last we've got the hood or the bonnet, as they say in the UK, and we've got nice detail on the inside of the hood. So lots of opportunities for fun there. And again, we've got lots of detail on the firewall. They've even molded in the, I guess that's windshield washer probably. And then I guess there's a different radiator assembly here. And we've got a battery, etc., etc., etc. So now, isn't that wonderful? Well, it went back in the box. Holy jeez. Okay, and now we'll take a look at the decals here. Get a nice decal set for the speakers. I guess those were speakers, not vents. You've got the two different types of trim. This will be for the low rider, and this will be for the other one. There's decals here for the lowrider wheels if you want to use them, and you get various license plates. You get dashboard decals for the radio, the speedometer, which was the rectangular type. Looks like there's a tachometer as well. Little bits of Delco and Valvoline, whatever stuff there. And then we've got New York, Illinois, California, Texas, and then just a standard rally type plate. So that's very nice. Oh, careful now. Put that in there where it'll be safe. Okay. Next. The instructions. I thought I had. Okay, and then okay, yeah. So we've got instructions here. And Revell's done a really good job with their instructions as well. So we've got we've got the paint guides here. Obviously they give the Revell paint numbers, but they also, give you what color it is. And the legend. Full parts list, which is nice, especially for me with cars, because I don't know much about cars. And it's nice to know what certain things are called. Okay, and as with most auto kits, I'm gonna zoom a bit here. There, that's a little better. Okay, so yeah, as with most auto kits, it starts with building the motor. And And yeah, so we've got the casing, and then we've got the oil pan and oil pump, I guess, and all the little bits and pieces to go on. And they tell you different ones, A, B, depending on which version you're building. And it's pretty simple, straightforward, and the engine isn't too complex. Then we go to the front suspension assembly, springs, shock absorbers, and then whichever one you've assembled, it goes up in there like that. Drop the engine down. Then we move to the undercarriage, rear springs, drive shaft, differential, rear suspension, putting that in, attaching it to the motor, swing bar, this looks like it'll be fun. And you assemble the seats. Gives you all the painting instructions as you go along. Tells you which details to paint, where the decals are going to go. The pedals are already molded in. This had a 3-speed transmission with a stick on the floor. I think the standard Impala was a 3 on the tree. And then there was a 2-speed power glide, I think they called it. But this one had the hydro something. What did they call it? Turbo Hydromatic, which was fully synchronized and all that kind of stuff, and it was a great transmission, even though it was only 3 speeds. Okay, but for a car like this, you don't 4-speed would have been a bit much anyway. So yeah. Okay, and yeah, so then we continue with the. You've got the options here for which radiator you want. No, you don't. This is in two pieces. So you've got this goes to there, and then that goes to there, and then that's. So it's, yeah, there we go. And then the looks like you've got door handles that go on here. Well, that's okay. You can paint those on the sprue, Peter, right? And then, yeah, you can paint those on the sprue, and then a lot easier than having them molded in. Okay, and then we've got our different types of wheels, and then you know, the passenger compartment that goes into the body. Windshield wipers go on. That's nice touch too. Easier to paint those. Then your body goes on, whichever wheels you've chosen. And then you finish off with the hood mechanism and the front grille. And then you go to the rear bumper. And they give you some detail painting. You know, they've got some of those tiny decals. And then this would be for the super low rider one. Badass. Okay, so that's it. Okay, so I went back and I looked it up. The kit costs $46, tax included, free Amazon Prime shipping, which I guess would be about, I don't know, 28-30 pounds in the UK. In any case, okay, so we'll rate the kit now. I really like well, I use a 12-point scale. Basic 2 points for packaging, up to 2 points for packaging, up to 2 points for the sprues, up to 3 points for the parts, and up to 3 points for the instructions. That's a total of 10 standard points. And beyond that, for any wow factors, I allow for a quarter-point bonus for each category. So that's a possible 11. And then up to 1 full point for what I call value. And so as far as the packaging goes here, I love this packaging. I mean, you know, how can you go wrong? I mean, you've got basically a California sunset, palm trees. It shows you both versions. You get a little write-up right on the side along with all the full details. It's good that they give you that information as well. Some excellent photographs of the completed kit. And just all in all, just fabulous packaging. So that's a full 2 points and a quarter bonus point. As far as the sprues, everything was complete. I don't know, I probably broke off that one piece, but anyways, I'm not going to make a big deal about that. The detail was nice. There weren't any warped or broken parts. Nice decals. And the only thing was a little bit of flash. So, which can be kind of irritating. So I got to deduct a quarter point for that. But as far as the detail and the decals are concerned, that gets a quarter point bonus. So we go back up to get 2 full points there on that. As far as the parts themselves were concerned, the quality was great, well detailed. Um, I just did that, didn't I? Yes. So, so yeah, lots of detail. So 3 1/4 for that. I beg your pardon. So that's 2 1/4 for the packaging, 1 3/4 for the sprues, 3 1/4 for the parts, and full 3 points for the instructions. Nothing to complain about. Would have been nice to have color illustrations, but hey, I get that. So they've given nice different colors on the side here, and of course you can do whatever side, whatever color you want, anyways. So there you go. So and then for as far as value is concerned, there's a lot here for $46 Canadian, boy, and plenty of hours of fun and hopefully not too much frustration. But this looks like a winner from Revell that's still on the market. So that brings the total to 11 out of 12, which is very respectable. And I think it's a great kit. If you're interested in car kits, this would certainly be one to get. All right, so that's it for today from the Vintage Model Builds channel and me. I hope you've enjoyed it. Hope you enjoyed the little chat or the little talk, the info, and give it a go. I mean, it's not a complicated kit, and as far as detail is concerned, yeah, it is what it is, right? So, considering it was started out as a Monogram kit in '96, actually, I'm surprised it wasn't a little older than that, but that's what ScaleMate says. And yeah, it would look very nice on the shelf. You could do a beach diorama. Okay, so thanks again, and hope everybody's doing well. And special shout out to Peter Oxley always. Check out his channels, Peter Oxley and Peter Oxley's Modeling Lab, and Peter Goes Rogue. He did a recent video on his travels after he married his beautiful wife, and just the scenery, Yeah, no other honeymoon stuff. But it was very interesting. They went to Monaco and Lake Como and all sorts of other stuff. So yeah, check out his channel. And Zinzan over at Zinzan Scale Modeling, he just dropped a Substack today entitled Jet Zero. So stop by there. Unfortunately, he wounded himself playing cricket quite badly. His finger, I guess, kind of split wide open. I guess got hit by a ball or something. Anyways, so it's taking some time to heal, and so he's had to curtail bench work. And it was this finger, which we know is very important. I believe it was this finger. Yeah, I think it was this finger. But anyway, so yeah, I hope it's healing up good for you there, Zen, and all the other folks. We'll be seeing you. Bye now.